Parshas Noach, at least a big part of the beginning of the Parsha, is all about the flood. I'd like to go through with you a timeline of the flood and see something quite fascinating and relevant to us today. It took Noach 120 years to build the Teva. Reason? He had to do it all by himself because God commanded him to do it. So he did it by himself. He didn't hire a company to do it for him. At his age of 600 years, young man, on the 10th day of the month of Cheshvan, Noach is told to enter into the Teva, him, his family, and all the animals, birds, and all the creations, all the insects. 7 days later, the rain starts and quickly turns into a flood. 40 days and 40 nights later, that is now the 27th of the month of Kislev, the water stops. 40 corresponding to the amount of 40 sa'ah necessary for a mikveh for purification. God is purifying the entire world. In the month of Sivan, this is now 8 months later, after the rain stopped, on the first day of Sivan, the water begins to subside. A week later, the Teva rests on the Mount Ararat. Then, about a month and a half later, the mountaintops become visible. That's on the first day of the month of Menachem Av. Following that, on the 17th day of the month of Menachem Av, that's 17 days after the mountaintop became visible, Noach sends out a dove and it returns immediately. 7 days later, he sends out a raven and it returns. 7 days later, he sends out another dove and it comes back with an olive branch, indicating there is some vegetation already happening. Then finally, a fourth dove is sent, or maybe it's the same, and it doesn't return. That's when he opened the ark. Now Noach stays from the first day of the month of Tishri, about 57 days later till the 27th of the month of Cheshvan, which is a year and 17 days since he came into the ark. God tells him, leave the Teva. Who? Atov ishtacha uvonecha oneshevonecha. You, your wife, your children, their wives, your sons, their wives, they should go out with you. And then the Torah says, make sure all the animals leave, and if not, you kick them out. Make sure they all exit. Now I want to ask you a question. When he saw that the world is dry on the first day of the month of Tishri, why did he stay? Why didn't he go out to celebrate the high holidays? Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the month of Tishri. Why doesn't he go out? Why is he waiting for God to tell him to leave? Now the simple answer is, God told him to go in, he's waiting to be told to go out. But it's interesting, the way he told him to go out is, you, your wife, your sons, your daughters-in-law, they should go with you. What's the meaning with the word with you? Now here is the answer. The environment existing inside the Teva was the same and similar, I should say, environment which is going to be in the time of the redemption, time of Gula. We know that Yeshaya Navi says, "V'gar ze'evim keves," that image how the wild animals will live peacefully with the tame animals. Logically, it makes no sense. How did they exist in there? Garbage on the first floor, a zoo on the second floor, and in the penthouse on the top floor, they lived. Very minimal airflow in this place. How did they exist? What did they eat? Why didn't they destroy it inside those little cubicles? But the answer is, it was a miraculous environment. An environment similar to the time of redemption. Why would anybody want to leave? Noach wasn't ready to leave. Asimir Gudda, as we say in Yiddish, I'm happy here. I'm living the time of Mashiach. Why would I let go? Why would I go out? So he stayed inside. So did the animals. They also enjoyed the environment. But God says, my dear friend, you have a mission to accomplish. You have to make sure that the time of Mashiach, the era of Mashiach, is not just for your own cocoon, for your own self. The entire world has a need for this reality of Mashiach. Whose responsibility is it? Yours, your wife's, and your children's. With you, all together, will accomplish this. We have been living in a teva the last 8 months. Forcibly. There's no flood, but there's an invisible flood. There's a virus out there. We tell the Eibishter, we're ready to go out. We have done what we need, and we're ready to go into the world of Mashiach, the final redemption, the final wonderful world.